Hello everybody. Today we're going to continue a bit our last tutorial, which was adding texture effects to our picture, to our image in our patch. Um, and I thought we could go back to this and just, yeah, make it a bit more interesting. Maybe add some better distortions and some glitches and maybe explore a bit what other texture effects we have that we could use to make this a bit more interesting. So so that's pretty much what we had in the last tutorial. I just removed, oh sorry guys, I just removed a couple of things. So you guys remember this was our render to texture was rendering our scene to a draw image where we added the levels and some pixel displacement. So you see the levels crushed already, the black and white levels of our image. And the pixel displacement, right now I have a color on top of everything, so you don't see anything. Let me remove that. So this is our original pixel displacement texture that we used as an input. And right now we don't have any distortion happening because it was on 0, so let me add something here. So 0.05. Just a tiny bit. I made this a bit faster as well, so it would be a bit more noticeable. Let me save this for now, hitting Command S. Yeah, so what else can we do here? I thought about maybe adding some interactivity as well. Maybe you click your mouse and yeah, things get distorted. Maybe we'll add some glitch on top, some chromatic aberration. But let's start. Yeah, bear with me. Let's make this together a bit more interesting. So I would say right now, if we want to add some mouse interactivity with this thing here, so let's say we want to click on the canvas and have the distortion, have our image being distorted once you hold your mouse down or click. First thing I would say is we need to keyframe. We need to change the values of the mount X, which if we make it 0, it doesn't distort anything. So we need to interpolate between 0 and the value that we have right now, which is 0.05. What we can do is add simply a mouse, not a mouse, a mouse up, which has a click trigger and has a button down output. So I think we can use the button down. Let's click that and drag out. And let's add something that it's called bool animation. Bool anim. And just for the sake of organization, I'm going to add another sequence here on top because I need to connect my bool anim. And this could be anywhere on the flow. It could be even on this sequence. It could be connected to anything. I like to make things a bit separated visually. So just so you guys understand how I think, it's like this is my main scene. I can even write here a comment for you guys. So let's put this thing here and say 3D scene. And here on top, we just push things. So these are our texture effects. And what else? Well, for now, let's leave it like this so you guys know what I'm talking about. And here I'm going to connect for the bool anim to work, I need to connect it to any input. So I'd connect it here just to visually be a bit more organized. And what this is doing is button down is 0 right now because yeah, I'm not holding my button down. But well, let me take it out of here so you guys can see. So if I click on my mouse and I check on the output parameters here, button down, and I go on my canvas and I click, you see that it changed from 0 to true. So now actually 0 is false and true is 1. So here it has false when you don't click anywhere, and if you click and hold, it turns into true. So bool anim is actually expecting to receive a bool operator here. So he's expecting to receive a 0 or a 1 or a true or a false. And if he does that, he will interpolate between two values. So right now I'm just going to connect the button down bool to the boolean bool input. And if we check our boolean, you have a value that it's false and a value that it's true. So if the input is 0 or false, it will give me this number, and if it's true, it will give me this number, and it will interpolate between both. So here we can choose how long we want this animation to be, like the interpolation between 0 and 1, and here we have even an easing to choose from. So I like to use quint in and out a lot, or quart in and out. I guess, yeah, let's just use quint in out. And without attaching to anything, you see now, if you click on the boolean and you see the output value right now is 0 because our false is 0 and we're not clicking anywhere. So if you pay attention here and I click on my canvas, you're going to see that it will interpolate in half a second between 0 and 1. So you see, I'm holding the mouse, I'm releasing now, it goes back to 0. So I guess we can use now this thing here to interpolate, well, to hide and show our texture effects. So where do we need to put this? I thought we could put this to the amount x of the pixel displacement. Yeah, because that's the only value that we're changing here to get our displacement going on. So you see, if you completely already just connect the amount of your pixel displacement, amount x to the pixel displacement to the boolean output, you see that now, because I'm not clicking anything, yeah, this is on 0. And if I click and hold the mouse, you see that it's distorting a lot. And this is only happening because, yeah, our true value is too high. You remember that here we were using a very low amount of x distortion. So we were adding a value of 0.05, I guess. So we either can add here a 0.05 value. So probably we'll go back to what we had before. And if you hold your mouse, you see now you can still rotate and do everything else that you could before. But if you release your mouse, it goes back to 0. Let me show you guys this on full screen. So, which is quite cool already, no? It looks like the mesh itself is being distorted, the object, but again, all this is doing is just distorting our pixels, our texture output, which is our whole 3D scene. But yeah, it's kind of cool already, no? You see, like I click and hold, it distorts, and I release, it goes back to 0. So this is the basic of adding some sort of mouse interactivity and some interpolated animation to a value. And this could be for any value. I'm just choosing to use it with the pixel displacement. So I'm just gonna for the sake of also organizing, I'm gonna put this kind of attached to the place which I'm using it. So what else can we do here? One thing that I want to show you guys is also that it's once you're doing mouse interactivity. So once you want to, if you want to click somewhere like on the canvas, and you want to have multiple effects turning on and off, I'm going to show you guys something that it's quite smarter to do, which I think I use it all the time. So instead of me using just one boolean for every single op that I will want to change values when I click on the canvas, what I can do is leave boolean true value to 1. So we just interpolate always between 0 and 1. So you see now I have again a lot of distortion going on. I'll show you guys on full screen again. Which, I mean, it's cool as well, but I don't want this high distortion right now. I want to have exactly how we had before. But since we're going to start adding more effects here, let's leave this at 1 and actually change the output here. So you see this is going to amount x. So right now in the middle, I can add another op, which is called map range. So I can map the ranges which are coming in to and change the output to another range of numbers. So right now he's saying like the old minimum value that I had going in is -1 and the old max is 1. And this is wrong because if you guys remember, uh, bool_num is giving us a 0 and a 1. So my minimum here is 0, my old minimum is 0, and my old maximum is 1. So I have to make sure that here I have exactly those same values. So 0 is my old minimum and 1 is my old max. And now I need to figure out what do I want to change this to. If my old minimum was 0 and my old max was 1, right now my new minimum is still 0 and my new max is 1, which is not what we want because we're getting the same result. We want to be able to map that 0 and 1 to 0 and 0.05. So right now we have again the same result as we had before, but the only thing that we changed is that now to make more effects, we don't have to just make more bool_nums. We can pretty much out of this bool_num that always gives us 1 and 0, we can just add other map ranges here to change that value. So for example, let's say I want to change the blur amount as well. And the blur amount here is 10. So right now I'm having the input of, again, my bool_num is giving me 0 and 1, so I'm going to change here again to old minimum 0 and my maximum being 1. And so let's say I want to interpolate the blur from 0 to 10. Now I can only just add a 10 here to the new maximum value and connect it to the blur amount. Let's see. Where is the blur amount? Here's the blur amount. So now out of one bool_num that interpolates between 0 and 1, I have two different outputs. One that will take that 0 and 1 and make it into a 0 and 0.05, and the other one will take that 0 and 1 and make it into a 0 and a 10. So now if you can see the preview of my texture effects, if I'm not clicking anywhere, you see there's no blur being applied. And if I click now here on the canvas and hold the button down, you see that he's trying to interpolate even my blur. That doesn't change much in our output result here, but yeah, maybe that was a bad example of myself to add this to the blur, but I want to add another thing here, and so we can use this for something else. So let's leave this blur at 10 how it was, and let's go on our main image output, which goes to the full screen rectangle, if you guys remember. So this is where we're adding our effects for now. Let's add here something that it's called Chromatic Aberration. I don't know if you guys know what it is, but that kind of simulates an effect that normally we get when we film with cameras, real cameras, and analog film. It's a bit of distortion. I hope I'm not like explaining it completely wrong. I know I should have checked this before I said it, but yeah, just for the sake of the tutorial and the explanation, he's pretty much adding some red and blues on the corners of your image. So you see here I can, this is simulating how a lens from cameras kind of behaves. So here, for example, if I add a lot of pixel, a lot of chromatic aberration on the pixel input here, so if I make it, I don't know, 10, you see that it's adding the same thing that we had, but so I'm just going to make this a bit more extreme for now so you know what's really happening. Let's make it even 120. So you see, like that's what a chromatic aberration is doing. But I mean, for glitches and some things, it's quite useful. I like it a lot. I end up using most of the time, even if it's just a tiny bit in my projects. But yeah, so let's say like this. Let's add a 10 just to be completely visible, and So let's take that old map range that we were using to interpolate from 0 to 1 to 0 to 10 to the blur, and let's actually add that to the pixel displacement. And you even have a lens distort here, which just distorts a bit the edges of your chromatic aberration, so not everything is looking the same. But yeah, we want to interpolate that, so let's connect now our map range, which is already giving us a 10 result, and 10 is the number which we're using for the pixel here. Coincidentally, yeah, let's add that. So, so this is still happening because my value of the, where is it? Sorry guys, where my lens distort is fully on 1. So we can just leave that to 0 for now. And you will see now that once you click on your canvas, your image will be distorted, and you will have a chromatic aberration as well fading in. So this is the basic of starting to layer some effects on your image and adding some mouse interactivity to it. We can also add another one which I really like, which is called let's see if I can Dita, which adds that dithering effect to your picture, which is quite cool for glitches and things like this. I can show you guys later one that I used exactly that, especially with this character here. Yeah, we can push the strength, but which I think is just crushing, no, not crushing, but adding like kind of like more gradients in between everything, and the threshold. So this adds a bit of those jitter textures to your image. So we can also interpolate the amount of this right now as well. So it's 0 to 1. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to go over 1, I guess, because it doesn't really change. So in that case, we can directly just take the bool and an output without any map range in between, because we just also want to interpolate from 0 to 1. So if we do that, and we put that in the amount of the jitter, now our image is back to normal again, and once I click it and hold it, we get this. We can add also another thing on top of everything, which is a noise, just to make things not super smooth and just add a bit more information to everything. Let's add a noise on top of everything. So you see, the noise is just some animated noise. It doesn't need to be animated. On the noise we have also effect out, but we have a blend mode and we have an amount. What normally I do is actually, depending if my background is black or white, I either use multiply, so I'm just leaving the black information of my noise in it, but let's add an animated version of it. And I don't use it 100%, normally I just use like 0.2, just to add a bit of information here. But what we can also do, just to make our distortion map a bit more, not so smooth as well, we can add more black and white information here to distort the pixels. So we can actually, underneath the blur or on top of the blur, we can add also noise here. So you see right now our image composed with a noise on top looks like this because there's a blur after it. So pretty much we're just blurring a noise. But I'm going to leave here at 10. But I'm going to make the blend mode multiply. So I have actually just a bit of like gray information fading in and out here very quickly, and that will give us almost like more of a glitchy distortion, like not that uniform. So you'll have some more interesting distortions happening, and we can check that out how it looks like. So you see, now you have both both things happening at the same time. Our noise black information is mixing with the stripes information. So this is what you're getting, and how this looks when you use that as an input for your pixel displacement is something that it's even, oh sorry guys, something that it's even more closer to a TV effect, I guess. Um, yeah, so yeah, I guess that's it for now. That's how you add some more interesting effects to your image in cables. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Next time we'll push this a bit more further. Ciao!